Here we are with some flavoring accents I want to show you. So let's start out with the liquids over here. First off, we're going to start with the rose essence water, which goes in a couple of the old classic cocktails. And then we'll move over to the simple syrup here, which is nothing more than a liquid form of sugar. Next, we have rock candy syrup. And over here we have the classic orange flower water, really wonderful essence there. And next we have is the orgeat syrup, which is a almond flavored syrup, which is really nice, goes in some classic Mai Tais and some other things with rum drinks and certain things like that. Cocktails. And we have a absinthe type of licorice liqueur here that goes in a drink like the Sazerac, for instance, which is an old classic cocktail as well. In the center here we have grenadine. I put it in this nice little container. We won't be using this a great deal, but it'll be nice to be pouring it out of something really cute like that. This bottle is the classic Caribbean falernum syrup. So this is difficult to find, but I'm very happy to have a bottle of this for the show. Over here we have maraschino liqueur. These are perfect for martinis. You get a chilled martini glass, and you spray a little bit of the vermouth on the inside, and it has a much better balance for the martini that way. Same goes with the sweet vermouth, the red-colored vermouth here, which goes well with Manhattans and Rob Roys. Obviously, it's perfect for that. That's what it's meant for. Now, this third one here I use as like a herbal flavoring accent as well. Certain type of liqueurs go in this, too. Out of my own choice, I have blue curacao in here because I'm going to be covering a martini cocktail called the Topaz Pear, in which I do a little mist spray of blue curacao after the drink has been prepared in the glass, as opposed to before spraying with these two. So I'll show you a complete opposite difference with this one, which is kind of nice. This is Angostura bitters here. Perfect and classic for the old-fashioned cocktail. And the Fee brothers come out with a wonderful pair of bitters here. Besides, they do make an old-fashioned bitters. They make a peach bitters, which is a really wonderful flavor. It includes almond oil in this as well. And this is orange bitters from West Indies. And it's just a really wonderful flavor, and I'm looking forward very much to using these for some of the cocktails in the series. So let's start off right at the top over here. These are nice, tightly packed, sealed glass container of cinnamon sticks, so they'll last a long time. In the center, we have some few different cloves. In back, we have mulling spices. Really wonderful. Apple, spice, really great flavors. The two small containers here, little shakers of cinnamon and of nutmeg. Now, this one really quick here, I put a little bit of chocolate syrup we'll be using sporadically for some of the drinks in the shows as a way to rim and add some coconut to the rim of the glass and to top off on a little bit of whipped cream as well. We have two different sprinkles here, so let's go ahead and cover these. These are the assorted color sprinkles, which are really wonderful and going on some of the coffee cocktails on top of the whipped cream. And as well, we'd be coming over here, and the chocolate sprinkles are used for the same purpose. Okay, here we have sliced almonds. Really nice little addition. We have crushed coconut, which is good for the top of whipped cream and also for rimming some of the blended cocktails, rimming the glass with coconut, which will be nice, and I'll show you that during the series as well. And we have chopped hazelnuts, which is a nice addition to a coffee cocktail, for instance, that has hazelnut liqueur. These are just coffee beans, which can be used for licorice liqueur, straight up in a snifter, where you put the 3 beans on the inside. Okay, we'll move over to some of the pinch powders here. Let's start off with this sugar first. This is Hawaiian cane sugar, and you can tell by that golden color there that what it does is it retains some of the natural molasses in the sugar, which is really nice to use. I'll be using the white and superfine sugars and maybe some of the cubes for like a champagne cocktail later on in the series, but right now I wanted to show you that one because it's a really nice addition to a drink. Okay, the 3 pinch powders here. We have ground organic allspice, which is really nice. Kind of a dark color compared to the other ones as well. Okay. Now this one here is cinnamon sugar, which is great to rim a glass for a cocktail as well instead of just straight sugar. It has a really nice cinnamon flavor and a little sweet because of that. And over here, the last one we have is cocoa powder. And that's really super fine, as you can tell. Has a medium color to it between these two anyway. And this goes well on top of drinks, on top of whipped cream, and good for, obviously, hot cocoa. Okay, over here I want to show you what this is. This is what's called a mortar and pestle. I'll be using this once in a while to maybe show you how to crush some mint sprigs in, some mint leaves, and we'll be using that for some of the old classic cocktails, the mint julep and the mojito. They both use fresh mint leaves. That's about it. So let's go ahead and get started with the series, and I think you'll really enjoy the flavorings that we use as we go along for each cocktail. Hi, welcome to Custom Shakers. I want to show you a variety of different shakers that I use behind the bar these days, including very new shakers based on 30s designs, and some of the actual shaker tins that are used today, as well as the old classic shakers. So let's start off at the very front. Custom shakers that are made today based on a 30s design. This is 18H steel. These are bullet cocktail shakers, and they're really wonderful. The shell just comes right off, and you have this 16-ounce model. Comes off like that, cap comes off like that, and the strainer is right in the dead center. Now these two shakers get the drinks really, really cold. You keep the shell off when you're making the drink, and you simply whip it around like this, and I'll be showing you this method when I make some of the drinks in the series, of course. Now, this is a really wonderful shaker. Now, its larger version is the 28-ounce bullet shaker here. Same exact design. Now, one quick thing I wanted to show you with the top of the shell. These normally aren't used for anything except for the wonderful look that it creates, but I've found another way that I could use the top of that shell. And when you're making a shooter or making a martini cocktail, say in just a simple small martini tin, you can put this shell over the top of it, and it fits just like a glass mixing cup would in the larger strainer. And you can make a shooter and just wrap it around like this, and it gets it really, really cold as well. And then you simply strain it without using a strainer, and just have the liquid fall right out into the glass. Or, of course, you can take that out and use the strainer as well. Either way. Okay, let's start off with one of the classics here. I recently acquired this a couple months back. This is a 15-inch tall Manhattan glass skyscraper. Really wonderful shaker. Got a nice heavy glass bottom to it. Pretty strong through the center, of course. And of course the cap for releasing and pouring the ingredients comes right out of there. And this holds quite a few drinks as far as martinis are concerned. You probably get a good 4 to 6 out of this, depending on the size of the martini glass you're using. Okay, these two in back, Our 1935s, really heavy, hard glass, difficult to break. Simply unscrews the cap. The strainer is right there. And I'll also show you that this simply pops off like that. Same exact method for this. Something very cool about this design they thought of in 1935 is there's a recipe dial for about 6 different recipes all around the top of this cap, where you have the name of the cocktail right here, and then you have the following recipe for that cocktail right there. I just want to bring this to the forefront. It's a really wonderful condition, antique cocktail shaker. I believe this was 1937. Okay, we're moving over to what's known as the thirst extinguisher cocktail shaker. I believe this year of antique was 1942 it was made. Really wonderful. There's a great heavy top to it, based on the design of the fire extinguisher, as you can tell. And it has a front exit port for the liquid, just like that. This is M.J. Kaufman Center Staff 1939. I found this on one of the last of antique stores I was in Oregon a couple of years back, and was lucky enough to locate this in really, really wonderful condition. And the center staff just unscrews here. Also, one slick thing about the designer of this is when this top comes off, you can simply use the old classic strainer, so you have 2 different ways of pouring. You can pour through here, through the center staff, or you could pour through here and pour like that. This strainer, Hawthorne strainer, fits exactly perfect for the very top of that. This is a 1947 Empson Machine Age cocktail shaker. Light design, really wonderful. Has the turning knob to pour, just like that. Really wonderful design. I really love this shaker a great deal. It's ribbed, as you can tell. Pretty decent shape for being around 55 years. Short-sized glass shaker. This is early 60s. It's like a Paris shaker with Eiffel Tower. I picked this one up because it's rare to get these pastel colors, to find one with the pastel colors these days. Usually the colors of shakers like this are much more brighter. I really enjoyed the look of this one, so I went ahead and purchased that one as well when I had the chance. Okay, I wanted to show you something with the basic shaker tins of today. They come in actually 3 different sizes. I think they actually make one a little smaller than this. This one's more of a use for a quick martini. Something about that size for if you're making just one martini cocktail, or one shooter cocktail for that matter. So that works really well. This is a standard shaker tin, of course. Really wonderful condition here. And the strainer that goes and fits in here perfectly. I want to show you something that not too many people are quite aware of what a Boston shaker means. There's not an actual piece of barware called a Boston shaker. What a Boston shaker is when you put the mixing cup and the shaker tin together, that's what's called a Boston shaker. And then you use it and go back and forth. Okay? So enjoy the look that I'm creating with all these different shakers, and I'm looking forward to using these. Wanted to show you how to go about loading or charging the water inside the classic soda siphon bottle. Now this also comes in a glass bottle with a outside mesh as well. I like this stainless steel one. This is one of my favorite. This brushed steel here is really, really nice. First off, you take a look at the inside container, and there's like a plastic tube there that you keep in there. You fill water up all the way to the top until you start hearing it go through this plastic tube, which is about right there, and then you go ahead and stop the water. You insert this top plastic tube, and it snaps pretty much right on. You go ahead and screw this on, not too tight. Right there is fine. Okay. This is the cap you put on afterwards. I'll show you that. CO2 cartridge goes inside like this. Now you're going to hear a sound as it loads up. Then you shake this vigorously for a few seconds. And then you're done. You take that top cap off. This is now empty. That on, glass, and just to check that your soda water's nice and strong. It's absolutely fine. Plenty of soda water cocktails out of here. Welcome to hydrometry. What hydrometry is the measuring of specific gravities of any given liquid. First of all, there's two different types of tools here. There's the measuring beaker, and then there's the actual hydrometer. Now, most gravities of liqueurs today are usually measured between 1.0 and 1.2. Okay, let's see about where we're at. That's about perfect right there. In and around that area of 240, between 240 and 250. Okay, take the funnel off. We'll place that down. Now the larger end of the hydrometer goes in first. Simply insert it in. Now be a little careful with this because they're both glass pieces and a little fragile. And then let it sit, get it towards the center so the hydrometer doesn't really go back and forth on touching the glass too much. And it's still and perfectly measured at 1.120. So let me lift this out, and that's where it's measured at right there, 1.120. Now these two tools, the measuring beaker and the hydrometer, are real easy to find. Just simply go to your yellow pages and look under scientific supply outlets, and your nearest local one will have these tools easy there. If you walk into a scientific supply outlet, they have so many different types of measuring tools there. It's beyond belief. Let them know that you're measuring specific gravities of liqueurs, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about and exactly what you want. That's the science of hydrometry. Hi, and welcome to Types and Styles of Glassware. I want to show you the three different basic categories of glassware that there are. First of all, there's tumblers in this end right here, which is also known as old-fashioned rocks glasses, bucket glasses, Collins glasses, things basically without a stem. Collins glasses here, short Collins glass here, also known as highballs, of course. We have more of the old-fashioned glass here. We actually have a tall old-fashioned glass here, too. Different types and styles. We have a square prism glass. It's very cool and really heavy. Got a heavy bottom to it as well. That's really nice. This is a tumbler shot glass. This is a footed stemmed shot glass. And this is really a tall stemware shot glass. We have tumblers, handles for coffee mugs, and then we go to this Irish coffee mug in the footed ware section. That's got a handle, of course, but it does have a footed stem there as well. Kind of a Pilsner mug, tall footwear there. This is really a footed ware here, more of a hurricane glass, also known as a zombie. This is a strange but interesting glass as well. Pretty light, a little bit of a heavy bottom, and holds quite a bit in there, but this goes into the footwear category as well. Okay, let's go over to the stemware on this side. Obviously, they're all stemmed. They're all a little different from each other. This one has a very cool-looking blue ball in the center. This one's a Bubbles martini glass. Stemware, really nice, as you can tell, obviously. And then we have one that's pretty popular today, which is the kind of a blown glass martini glass, bent in areas here. You can find glassware in all types of places, antique stores, even Goodwill and thrift stores too. This is a really tall stemmed, twisted stemmed, as you can tell, martini glass. And then we have the classic margarita glass right here, tall stem. Many of you are used to seeing in restaurants, and the same as there. And we have the wine goblet / globe glass, which is a tall stem, which is very nice. Just understand that there's three different categories here, and it makes it easier if you're going to buy glassware to choose from the selections of things that you like, to maybe build up a a nice wide balanced selection of glassware in your house and in your home bar if you have one. A few different items that would be really wonderful for a starter bar kit for you if you attend private parties, bartend at other occasions. So let me bring this out to you and lay it all out for you right now. Okay, we have the pourer tops for the liquor bottles, liqueurs. You can tell they're this size. Now I have different sizes as well, like here. 2 different sizes, depending on what you're pouring, of course, and how busy the party might be. Next we have the small size cutting board, which is perfect. This paring knife for the cutting the fruit actually fits inside here as well, so that's really wonderful. And we have the bar spoon, which works perfect for cutting lemon twist and separating the skin from the fruit. We have the muddler here. You might as well bring along because it doesn't take up much room in the bar kit anyway. This is for drinks if you want to crush some fruit at the bottom of the glass or what have you. And of course we have the essential bar towels. These are just 2 towels. I have a couple more in the pack. So you might want to bring 3 or 4 towels at the minimum, because you never know how much you're going to have to clean the bar down during the night. Okay, let's start off with a couple of the wine openers. You want to have 2. So I have 2 here, one in case of an emergency. If I lose one, you never know, those type of things can happen. And I have a can opener, bottle opener. And I have the church key that I always carry with me. That's a personal item of my own that I don't see too many people having these days, which is something that straps on your belt of your pants and goes out about 2 feet, so it kind of goes with you, and you don't have to search for something like this that might be another part of the bar. You really have this to go along with next to your side all night long. Okay, another essential obviously is the ice scoop, because you don't want to be using your hands to put ice in the glasses. It's about a medium size, so that's perfect, and it actually fits perfect in the pack as well. You have a couple different jiggers. You've got a 1.5 ounce, and you have a 1 ounce with bottom ends of half the amount as the top ends. Okay. Then we have 2 atomizers here. Now I use these as a spray misters for vermouth, for martinis. I have a dry and I have a sweet vermouth there. 2 different strainers. Actually different size strainers, as you can tell, because this fits more perfectly with the smaller mixing tin, and this goes fine with the larger mixing tin. Okay, let's start over here. We have the cigar slicer,
And we have the 2 lighters. We have some chewing gum for yourself. And the last thing never to forget is to, when you're at the bar restaurant supply, is to purchase 1 or 2 of these bar mats, which makes the bar keep cleaner during the night, when any accidental overspills will simply go on the mat instead of all over the top of the bar. So this is really a perfect type of a bar kit to start off with, at least. Now once you expand, you can get into these 2 type of shakers here that travel really well in the bag because of the size and the dimension. It's really wonderful, 18/8 steel, and it chills drinks up super cold. These are called Bullet cocktail shakers. One's a 16 ounce here, and then one's a 28 ounce. And so in the end you really have 4 different types of shakers that you'll be able to put in your bar pack. That's it. That's the whole bar kit that you'll need.
Iceology. I want to talk to you for just a couple minutes on the different types of ices that you'll use and that you'll see behind bars. First off, let's go take a look at the crushed ice. It's also known as shaved ice, which is right here. Now you can use this for blended drinks. You can use this for shaking martini drinks if on request. And you could use it for certain cocktails that request crushed ice as opposed to cubed ice. So that's real nice to use there and always have. Some bars don't have crushed ice, and sometimes you may have to crack the ice. If that's the case, then we'll go right to here. I've already cracked this, and what it is, it's really just cracking some cubes. And years ago, this is what was known, and even today, it's what is known as cracked ice, where you simply crack some basic cocktail cubes, so where it's almost in the middle. It's not completely crushed, and it's not cubed. It's cracked. These will work well in a flash blender as well. So that's how those cubes are. Now these are also standard cocktail cubes here that you can find at your nearest ice store around the corner, and can be completely used with no problem with any of the cocktails that we're going to be making here for the series. Now let's move over to the front here. What these are lenticular ice cubes. Now if you take a look at these, they're round. They don't come full like that. Those two just happen to be kissing the back of each other. They really come like this and like that. But these lenticular ice cubes are really nice. They last quite a while. They're designed that way to keep the cocktail colder and chilled a little bit longer. And they're also really smooth coming out of the ice machine. So when you're pouring the liquor over the top of them, it doesn't necessarily bounce off and out of the liquor bouncing off and out of the glass so easily. So there's many benefits to using these lenticular ice cubes. I really love these ice cubes a lot. They're nice and smooth on the outside and aren't as loud when you're using the scoop in the ice well. It's really quick. They don't stick to each other very often, and it's easy. They fit in the cocktail glass real easy also because of the type of dimension that they are.
These are just the different types of ice cubes that I'll be using for the series. And I wanted to show you the different ones that are on the market today, and of course what cracked ice cubes meant. That's it.